This ball is crushed.
You're listening to the New York Yankees Recaps Podcast, where we're talking New York Yankees baseball all season long.
So a long time ago, somebody asked Rogers Hornsby, what do you do during the winter when there's no baseball? And he said, I'll tell you what I do. I stare out the window and I wait for spring. That's kind of how I feel. I love the baseball season. I love the New York Yankees. And as we approach spring training, I'm getting more and more excited about the 2020 season. Yankees have a great lineup coming back. I want to talk a little bit about what I think we can see out of the opening day lineup. Now, this is assuming there are no injuries, which with this team, honestly, that's a big assumption. But hopefully with the change in training staff, the worst is out of the way in terms of the injury front. So, but freak injuries can always happen. Guys get hit by pitches or hit on the practice fields with line drives. Things like that happen in spring training all the time. Guys tweak hamstrings. But if everybody's healthy, which we can only hope they will be, this is what I envision as the lineup for the 2020 opening day New York Yankees when they take the field in Baltimore, as was the case at the end of the 2019 season. I think that when Aaron Boone hands in his lineup card for opening day, DJ LeMahieu will be in the leadoff spot. However, I project that he will move back to his natural position of second base. I remember when they signed him, they kind of projected him as a super utility player. But I think he proved last season when he led the team with 6 wins above replacement and batted .327 that he's legit and he needs to be in the lineup every day. He's already won a batting title with Colorado, and he's won a Gold Glove at second base. So having him back at second base for the entire season will give him a chance to earn his second Gold Glove. Batting second, number 99, Aaron Judge. Not even a question about this one. He's the best player on the Yankees roster. There used to be a school of thought that the best hitter should bat third or fourth. But modern analytics has shown that the best hitter has a chance to drive in the most runs batting out of the number 2 spot. So I think that's why you're going to see Aaron Judge batting second if he's in the lineup. We've seen him lead off a few times. We've seen him bat third and fourth, but I think he's going to settle into that number 2 spot in the lineup and hopefully have a big year. Giving him protection will be Gleyber Torres, and I think he'll be playing shortstop rather than second base. He opened last year at shortstop with Didi Gregorius on the disabled list or injured list. He's gotten exponentially better. He hit 24 home runs in his rookie season, hit 38 last season, and he got noticeably better as the season went along. That's one great thing about these young players is they don't wear down the stretch. Like somebody like, if you remember, Brian McCann and Carlos Beltran, down the stretch, those guys were dog shit. But these young guys stay fresh. And I think you're going to see a big year out of Gleyber Torres entering his age 22 season. Batting fourth, Giancarlo Stanton. Now, I struggled with this one because he's a good outfielder. He really is. And I know most of his injuries have come from batting. But you got to keep him in the lineup. And plus, the Yankees have a pretty good defensive outfield backing him up. So I think you're going to see Giancarlo DHing to open up the season, especially in that cold weather. Let's hope that he has better luck against Baltimore this season than he had last season in New York. Batting fifth, Mike the Sock Man Tauchman. I fell in love with Mike Tauchman last year. He's got that sweet left-handed stroke. He also drives the ball the other way, which not a lot of Yankees left-handed hitters have done in recent years. So that was good to see. He had that big home run against the Red Sox. It was his first of the year, and then he caught fire. He was one of the best hitters in the major leagues in the month of July, and then of course got injured down the stretch. But I think a full season of Mike Tauchman, he's going to put up some big numbers. He actually only played 87 games, and he had a 3.9 wins above replacement. That projects out to over 7 wins, which would have led the team. So I think we're going to see a big season out of Mike Tauchman. His home run numbers aren't going to be great. I mean, he hit 13 in 87 games. He'll probably hit 25 or so, maybe a few more. I think his batting average will come up because he got off to a slow start. I think you might see him hit 290. He's that type of hitter. But most importantly, he's an unbelievable defensive player. So Luke Voigt has been working hard in that log cabin all offseason. Boy's going to come to camp jacked. He had surgery for that hernia that basically cut his season short. He was the best hitter on the team going into London, and he had a good London series, but pulled up lame with that sports hernia at second base. And then when he came back, you could tell he wasn't right, and he needed surgery. So hopefully he'll come in healthy and ready to go. And that boy works hard, man, so I anticipate he'll be ready to go. Batting seventh, Gary Sanchez. Strange to see him in the number 7 hole. You think of him as one of the best hitters on the team, especially against Baltimore, but where we'll open up the season. 34 home runs last season in 396 at-bats. Not all against Baltimore, even though it seems that way. But they got to figure out a way to keep Gary Sanchez healthy this year. He's had those groin issues. He's had some hamstring issues, some bicep issues. Every year it's something. I think his future is as a DH. Unfortunately, probably not with the Yankees because they're locked in with Stanton for the next 10 years. Probably going to be at DH. I guess he's got 8 years left or something like that. Gio Urshela, batting 8th, playing third base. I think he's going to beat out Andujar for the third base job, but I do think Andujar will make the team. Gio Urshela is just a better defensive player. And, don't look now, but he had more hits. He definitely had a higher batting average than Miguel Andujar. Now, a lot of people say batting average doesn't matter. Well, for young guys, it kind of does. It can show, it can get that confidence up and shows you who can hit and who can't. Andujar is a free swinger. He doesn't walk a lot, doesn't strike out a lot. He's a contact guy, but he's not a good defensive player. I think what they're going to do is have Gio Urshela be the everyday third baseman, and then Andujar can go in and give him a spell on days where the statistics, the projections and the analytics show that there's not a lot of balls that are going to be hit towards third base that day. I mean, they can do that. They can kind of figure that out. And if there is one, you just kind of hope he makes the play. But the 13th man on the roster, actually 26th man on the roster, I think they're going to do 13 pitchers and 13 hitters. That 26th man opens up a spot for him on this roster. It also opens up a spot for Clint Frazier to be the backup outfielder. Batting ninth, Brett Gardner came back on a one-year deal. I think you're going to see him in center field until Hicks comes back. He had a really nice year last year, 28 home runs, career high. He was good in the playoffs at times. He was a good defensive player last year, so it's good to see Gardy still in there. He's the last member of the 2009 championship to still be on the roster, so you hope he can get a second ring. On the bench, Kyle Higashioka hit 20 home runs in AAA last year. Never been much of a hitter at the big league level, but he's shown a little bit of pop, and he's a good defensive player. Tyler Wade, the Yankees have kind of had him on that Scranton shuttle the last few years. Good left-handed bat, but hasn't done much in his career offensively, but he is a decent defensive player. He's got some speed. We've seen him get some big hits. He looked better last year. I think he hit 250. I think we'll see him finally crack the opening day roster. Miguel Andujar, as I mentioned, I think he'll be the fill-in at third base. I think they'll also give him a first base mitt to have him fill in for Luke Voigt on occasion. Andujar's major problem defensively was that he double and triple clutches on the throws. So while his range isn't great, it's really the delay in making the throw that keeps him from being a good third baseman. Don't have that problem at first base. So if he can just pick it, you might see him get some time at first base. You might see him get some time in left field and in right field as the Yankees try to build on the theme of versatility. A lot of guys who can play a lot of positions. And then the last roster spot, Clint Frazier. Obviously not a great defensive year. I don't think he's as bad defensively as he looked last year because he's looked better in the past. He's obviously got a great bat speed, good power. Didn't put up huge numbers when he came back, but he's shown that he can hit good pitching. He's shown that he can be clutch. We saw him hit that big 3-run home run against the Orioles to give the Yankees the lead, and then also he hit a walk-off against the Brewers in his rookie season. So excited to see what Clint Frazier can do given a full, healthy season. I don't think he's going to get 500 at-bats. I think he might get 350 at-bats, and I think that will be just fine with him and with the Yankees. So that's how I see the Yankees offense breaking down. I'll get into the pitching in another video. The pitching is pretty much the same as last year, but there's still a chance that they might acquire Josh Hader. So, like I said, stick with me for more videos coming up, and I'll see you next time.